Thank you very much, Jesus. I really greatly appreciate the hard work that a number of people have done at the Trust. Jesus Soriano, Eric Cuernavaca, Victor Rivera, Carlos Cabrera, you'll be speaking, thank you. But and also Norma Mejia and Carlos Vidal. So thank you very much for the work that all of you have done. And it is nice to be here. I now say it's nice to still be here for those of you who read the papers. But this Innovation Blast is about doing, and it is about a conference that is not just networking or getting business cards, but hopefully about closing business. And the pavilion that the Trust will have in the first Interfex here will be one where we hope, in fact, connections are made and business is done. Certainly showcasing is important because we need people to understand how much we have here in Puerto Rico in terms of startups and technology and research. And it's not well known, and we have to get out and we have to advertise and we have to showcase. But ultimately what's important is that the companies that are growing can grow successfully. And so at Interfex we hope to combine vendors, investors, company management, service providers, together with customers and have some real business get done. So we hope that we'll see you at Interfex, and I think Jesus will talk a little bit more about it. Just briefly regarding the Trust, our own mandates are in the areas of public policy, building alliances, which I thought that was going to be the hardest one, and I would actually say that in many ways it's been the easiest. The number of people who I see here who I know who have worked with the Trust and who have been supportive is immense. And there is fragmentation, but I don't think it's is fragmentation that anybody wants. And I've just found an incredible willingness to work together. The third bullet, promote, invest in, and finance activities that foster the economic development. I think this is our biggest area of focus and where the Trust can be different from and complement the incredible efforts that many are making in entrepreneurship. The need for capital and the need for capital that is experienced and comes with advice and can help companies grow is an area that I view as our highest priority. And we're beginning to put together some plans so that we can introduce some venture funds that will hopefully be of assistance to startups. But even in advance of that, we hope to introduce some programs very soon that will provide additional advice to entrepreneurs, seed capital, until we're able to get larger amounts of capital. And certainly, good advice is worth a lot. When you're looking for money and you're hoping for a check, unfortunately we can't always give that, but to have a good mentor, to have good advice, and I see Juan Carlos from Grupo Ayacán will be working with Grupo Ayacán and supporting the MIT mentoring program, but to have good advice can be much more important than having money. So until we have money that we can give you, we're going to give you advice and hopefully a little bit of money and larger amounts in the future. And it is really our goal to help technology transfer. And technology transfer is not really just from universities. It's from a laboratory or from a situation where there is not yet a product. And so we look forward to working with universities as well as private companies. So this diagram, if only it really worked, this way. But it does capture the main points of technology transfer. But in fact, anybody who's been involved in it probably has found that you'd have a whole lot of crisscrossing back and forth like a game board. In order to have the best possible IP protection, you may have to go back and reinvent. You may have to do some additional research. In order to license or market your product, you may have to modify it. You may have to modify your IP. So it is an iterative process, but I think it's a useful demonstration of, or diagram of the main points of tech transfer. Where I think the trust can focus, and our plan is to focus, is first of all in supporting research and development, in supporting infrastructure and providing direct grants to assist in the movement of research into the marketplace. So there'll be times where we are supporting research, and each time we will ask for what is the commercialization plan that goes with this research? What is the outreach plan that goes with this to make sure that the equipment or the project doesn't just stay in the lab? The second area that you see circled, technology assessment, is some people I would think would be a little bit surprised why we would focus on that, and it doesn't sound like it's the most interesting of them, but it is one of the most important, and it's where in this whole process where we often see the least investment, yet we should have the most investment. And believe it or not, it ties, technology assessment ties with licensing and marketing. And the concept is that every single invention should have a business plan. There should not be a piece of research that we are looking at for a potential patenting where we're not looking at the market, who are the users, sitting down and understanding all the different possible uses, who might license it, who might use it, because unless you do that, unless you have the input from licensing and marketing in determining whether or not you're going to take this technology and advance it to IP protection, if you don't have that input, you're going to end up with technology on the shelf. So where the trust hopes to be of assistance is, first of all, as I said, in research and development, in building the infrastructure and providing grants, and within technology transfer, in providing some resources to universities and others who are in the role of a gatekeeper to make sure that they have the resources, because it's very hard to get budget for technology assessment, yet it's where some of the most important decisions are made of go or no go. Patents, you'll notice a dotted line because that's something we want to cooperate with many by helping providing funding and training, but that's something that needs to be done in cooperation with the owners of the technology. But what we really hope we can bring are the areas that are circled, because commercialization is really, in the end, what turns these into products and companies and will bring back income to the institutions. So we have one of the consultants at the Trust, a marvelous person, Victor Rivera, loves metrics, and he always asks that wonderful question, well, how are we going to measure innovation? How are we going to measure ourselves? And these are some of the measures that we're going to be using to measure the Trust performance and Puerto Rico's performance. We're working on an annual analysis of the state of R&D and of innovation in Puerto Rico that'll be published on an annual basis. So some of them are pretty obvious. New technology-based startups. That is an area where I continue to be amazed at the number of new companies that I learn about. So, for instance, today we have 3 individuals speaking about different stages. Carlos Cabrera will be speaking about research stage technology. Nano Essentials is at a product stage. and eco-energy age is at a client and customer stage. So the number of startups that we can create is an important metric. What I worry about, and the reason why our focus is on capital, is I worry about the survival of these companies. And that is why our focus is on capital combined with expertise. Second, new products and technology developed. Not all products, not all innovation is going to occur in startups. We have larger companies that are doing a lot of innovative entrepreneurial type work as well. And so we want to see the advancement of products in larger companies as well as in startups. And also, it's important to keep in mind that not the dream of having a company is not, it's often a nightmare. And not every product is meant to be a whole company in its own right. And so it's important for us in trying to maximize some of the value of inventions that we have to be realistic about what should become a company and what should be simply licensed out. So third, we will be starting soon R&D contract award process. It'll be a very open process and with a very defined process as soon as we have in place the policies and procedures to handle that. Patents awarded, there are people here I see who share, like Eugenio, who runs the UPR IP Institute and Clinic, who are very dedicated to increasing the amount of patents. And obviously, although we may focus on the number, you can assume in there that quality is also important. And the reason why we need to focus on intellectual property is, Eugenio, what is it, average of 20 or so patents awarded to Puerto Rico. We can't build companies, we can't license this technology unless it's protected. So this is an area of really great importance to us, to try and train and to try and provide funding to make sure that we significantly increase the number of patents. And it's all about jobs. It all comes down to jobs and the impact on the economy. And that's why we really view our mission and our own kind of saying is that is economic development through technology development. But there are many that are not on this list that we left off. And I'm hoping that I can have a little audience participation here, otherwise I'll be very embarrassed up here. So I need one of you to start thinking and speaking about what else you feel we should have on here as metrics. And just to get you going, I'm going to mention one that I haven't committed to paper in our own business plans for the trust, but I feel is very important, and I will feel that Puerto Rico has really succeeded in a very big way when we have a number of and I think of 10 as the number, 10 public companies based in Puerto Rico that started here and grew. To me, that is my dream. But what might be some other metrics by which we should measure innovation and how well we're doing here in Puerto Rico and how well the trust is doing? Luis. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's excellent. In fact, if you defining venture capital strictly, we really don't have a venture capital community here. We've had some investment. We have some interest in investing in some firms who would invest, but we don't have that vibrant community. And if you look, and we should include this, Luis, it's a good point. If you look at the numbers, the trust is quasi-governmental or an NGO. And so if you look at it from our perspective and you compare us to states in the United States, About 40 out of 50 have significant funds that are investing in early stage and growing companies. And some of them are remarkably large. New Mexico has a $425 million fund, and we really don't have one. So that is something that we want to start. But in the end, it has to be more than one. It has to be several investors at several different stages. Luis mentioned angel investors. That's one of the important first steps. So we need to develop that. And then the follow-on seed and early stage financing, and then expansion capital. So that was a good one, Luis. So I'll let you all off the hook, and more importantly, let the program get started. So I'll turn it back to Jesus. And again, Jesus, thank you so much for your assistance in putting this together. Greatly appreciated.